Well, good morning, everybody. This is Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Tuesday morning. It's the 11th day of November, 2025, and this is the morning briefing. The 11th day of November, Veterans Day, a day we take time out to thank veterans and those that have served. And, we should do that every day, but today especially. So for all those of you that have served or are currently serving, thank you very much. Beautiful day today in Northern California for Veterans Day. This is the way it looks outside the home weather office this morning. Some high clouds. Once again, an evidence that we have some moisture in the atmosphere up above 20,000 feet, which means we're going to be seeing some contrails again during the day today. Just, again, an indication of what's going on in the atmosphere. We do have a lot of cloud cover coming up from the south. Today is going to be a somewhat cloudier day and a somewhat cooler day than yesterday because the sun will be dimmed a little bit more, but still mild with temperatures well above average for this time of year. The weather system we're looking at is still well back in here, so while this is spreading cloud cover throughout the area, today will be a dry day. And that just kind of shows you that sometimes moisture isn't everything you need. Obviously, you need moisture to get some rain and snow, but you also need what we call dynamics. So this is a case where we have a lot of cloud cover, but you don't have anything in the way of rain. You don't have anything to squeeze that rain out. And so here at 500 millibars, you can see that flow coming up from the southwest. So there's a lot of moisture in here, but you just don't have anything to help squeeze that out. You don't have any temperature differences, significant temperature differences. You don't have any vorticity like you do out in here. And here's that weather system dropping down. Now, the key today in the morning model runs is slower. You might remember yesterday there was a difference between the NAM and the GFS. The NAM was much faster. The GFS was a little bit slower. Well, guess what? Today the NAM slowed down. And it's because of the nature of this thing right here. This is Wednesday night. We have the low out in here. And watch what happens. It kind of pivots out in here. So instead of just coming off the Pacific and coming inland, it just kind of pivots a little bit. And it's because of that we are likely going to see a slower solution to the rain, snow, and wind that we are expecting mostly during the day on Thursday. Then once we get into the day on Friday, that system sinks to the south. This is Saturday, some rain for Southern California. And then behind it, the weekend looks good. And then the next system slides down the coast on Monday, leaving Northern California dry. All right, let's get into the specifics here. All right, so this is the NAM. I'm going to show you a bunch of models here. So this is the NAM. And as you can see today, we don't have anything in the way of rain, despite the fact we have all that cloud cover. Now we get into, this is Wednesday evening around 7 o'clock. Some showers on the north coast. But again, this is much, much slower than yesterday. As a matter of fact, let's go back to yesterday's 12Z run. See, that's a little bit farther away. Now let's go to when the rain actually may be starting. There's the pivot off the coast. This is Thursday morning at 4 a.m. I'll go ahead one more frame to 7 a.m. 7 a.m. So we have the rain on the coast. But again, if we go back to yesterday morning's run, well, look where the rain is. The rain's already past the valley. So this is, again, a slower solution today. And it's because this low is going to be pivoting around off the coast. So while yesterday it looked as though we may see the best, from this model anyway, it looked as though we may see the best rain before the morning commute or during the morning commute. Now, this model says that, well, other than on the coast, well, the best rain may hold off until midday. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This line kind of falls apart, and you'll notice that from this model, there's still no snow in the Sierra. The coldest air is still well off the coast. Again, everything pivoting around this low, so that's where the cold air is. So this is much, much different than what we were seeing yesterday. Now, this is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Rain in the foothills, still no snow in the Sierra. Then finally, as we head into the nighttime hours, on Thursday night, we still have rain in the foothills. Now we're finally getting snow in the Sierra. And then into the day on Friday, there is rain south of Stanislaus County. There is some really good rain down towards Santa Barbara and areas south of, let's say, Big Sur. But nothing into San Diego, but there would be some rain in LA. And this is Friday night. So I'm not quite sure what to make of this model run from the NAM. Let me show you the total rain that this one is showing. Total rain, about a half an inch in the valley, but much better here where that line kind of gets hung up. So from, let's say, Pollock Pines down through Pioneer and Volcano, and then all the way down toward the Twain Harte area, we'd have more than 2 inches of rain. And then Auburn might be seeing an inch, inch and a quarter, something like that. Again, if this model is 100% true. This model is also still bringing us some wind. So let's go to wind gusts. I think this is the top winds here. Winds gusting 40, but this is 7 o'clock in the morning. That's 10 o'clock in the morning, and then the winds quickly die down. So we could see gusts, again, I think these are a little on the high side, but we could see gusts over 40 in the valley. And again, according to this model, it would be on Thursday morning. Now, we are, some of this is getting into the range of the HRRR, but not quite far enough just yet. So I'm going to show you the 12Z, and let's go back to, because the 12Z run only goes through first thing on Thursday morning at 4 a.m. But this also has a slower solution. This is Wednesday afternoon. There may be some spotty showers out ahead of it, but the main area of rain, I'll go to 4 a.m. on Thursday morning. The main area of rain, that looks a lot like the NAM, doesn't it? In terms of the placement of the rain at 4 a.m. Certainly not inland like the NAM was showing yesterday. And this model at that time, also, again, this one only goes through 4 a.m. It's just starting to pick up the winds into the 20s and 30s. The high-resolution NAM does go a little bit farther out in time, and while I'm on the wind, let's just show that, because the high-resolution NAM goes out through 60 hours. And again, this looks like the peak wind in the valley. And this is at 9 a.m. Winds gusting into the upper 40s. It might be a little on the high side, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some gusts of 42, 45, something like that. But then the winds quickly die down, so it doesn't look like it's going to be windy for that long. Now, let's go back to the rain. And yeah, the high-resolution NAM is also slower today. This is 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. That's when we get the best rain in the valley, according to this model. And then looks like the lower resolution NAM as well, with hardly anything in the way of snow. So really interesting this morning. Slower, I get it, because of the nature of this whole thing. Now let's go to the GFS, which isn't quite fully in just yet. This is 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. Same thing. So the models are in agreement this morning on a slower solution, meaning the best rain is on the coast, and then at 7 a.m. we have rain into the valley. But you'll also notice that here, no snow in the Sierra, whereas yesterday's run was just starting to get the snow. All right, I'll go ahead another couple of frames. It should be more dramatic here in a little bit. Look at that. Hardly anything in the way of snow. This is Thursday night. So with the low pivoting around out here, it keeps the cold air out here. This is a much warmer solution than what we saw yesterday. So yesterday we were seeing snow. Again, this is the 12Z run from yesterday. And then this is today's, hardly any snow. You have to go to the higher elevations south of Highway 88, really. So, yeah, let's go ahead a little bit more. This is Friday at 7 a.m. Still, that low pivoting around here is dragging everything farther to the south, but it certainly keeps more areas wet on Friday than what we were looking at yesterday. And then here's when Southern California gets their rain. So for those of you in Southern California, you don't get much on, let me back this up, just let's talk about SoCal for a little bit. So that's Thursday evening, so SoCal really doesn't get much. And then Friday we get some rain, but the best rain is on Saturday. This is Saturday late morning. Some really good rain, but it looks like it may be too warm to get snow on the Grapevine for those of you traveling that way. And then that's the one on Sunday night, Monday. So really, really interesting this morning. It's when we are closer to a system like we are now compared to yesterday. I mean, we're only 48 hours away really from the rain starting in our area. You'd expect some better consensus from one day to the next. But I think it looks like all of the models from the HRRR to the NAM to the GFS are all slower today. So if we were looking at rain early on Thursday morning or during the overnight hours before the sun came up, now that looks as though it's going to be pushed back to mid-morning, afternoon, and also less snow from this solution as well. And also windy. I think sometime in that late morning time, mid to late morning on Thursday, the valley could see some gusts around, 40, 45 maybe, especially on the east side of the valley, from Lincoln through Roseville, Folsom, down toward Ione, Rancho Murrieta, those areas would see gusts maybe around 45. So this is interesting, and it's I expected more the models this morning to be more like what we saw yesterday, but instead this shift away from less snow and better rain and better wind is really, really interesting. But today, beautiful. Tomorrow, dry. For those of you that work outdoors, tomorrow looks like it's still going to be fine during the day. We may start to see some showers late tomorrow night, but really it's going to be Thursday. And maybe some of this hangs around into the day on Friday as well. So that's the nature of weather forecasting. Every day something different. Hope you enjoy your day today. Make it a great day. And again, thank a veteran. I'll talk with you later.